Hey guys, and welcome to episode 14, The Art of War, where we're going to be having a chat on competition over some green tea. Because what's the deal with competition these days? Competition has a really bad reputation, but is it really all that bad? To be completely honest, I actually enjoy competition from time to time. And so in this episode, we're going to break down some of the misconceptions with regards to competition. We're going to redefine competition in a healthy way. We're going to go through a scenario, and we're going to talk about some strategies that can help us navigate competition in a healthy way. So with that said, let's get started. So when you reflect into your life and you think about all of your competitive experiences, how would you describe what competition is? What I notice is that people usually like to associate competitiveness with things like stepping on other people, throwing people under the bus, being deceiving, or being super aggressive. And I actually reflected on some of my past experiences, and I realized that this is actually what people think competition is. So, for example, I used to be on the track and field team in high school, and we used to have frequent races, right? So, this one time I had a race, and I was standing beside somebody who, when we were running, and she saw that, like, I was coming towards her, she actually put her elbow out and prevented me from moving forward. So, I had to, like, maneuver my body, and then I had to bolt in order to get out of that experience. But what that experience actually taught me was that what she was doing was she was trying to prevent other people from getting in front of her instead of trying to outrun us. Which was actually just a representation of her insecurities and fears masquerading as competitive drive. It wasn't actual competition. So then you might be wondering, well, what is real healthy competition, right? So to me, competition is a challenge aimed at growth while maintaining moral values and integrity. And I want to tie this concept to the concept of survival of the fittest. Because if you think about it, how do the fittest organisms survive on this planet? It's actually not a result of direct conflict. It's actually due to innovation and adaptability, right? The ones who have special mutations and special abnormalities will survive in their given environment. So if we take this concept and bring it back to competition in human matters or in worldly matters, we can see that true competition isn't actually a result of focusing on the threat, but it's a result on your own growth and strategy. And seeing it through this lens will actually enable you to see that, stepping on other people or trying to bring them down or being too aggressive is actually not going to help you in the long run in a competition. So now that we've defined competition, how do we identify who our competition is? See, the thing is, people who desire the same thing as you aren't necessarily a reflection of your competition. Your true competition is those of the same caliber as you. So those that have similar IQ, EQ, abilities, and put in the same amount of effort as you, those are the people that are your competition. This could mean that sometimes you're competing against a lot of people, and sometimes it could even mean that you're just competing against yourself. That being said, let's talk about a really interesting competitive situation, okay? So, have you ever been in a competition where despite losing, you actually still felt like the winner? And to be completely honest, these kinds of situations and this kind of experience is actually really common when external judgment is involved in a competitive situation. So this could be explicitly judges sitting in front of you, judging you while you're presenting. It could be the people you're working for judging you as you're delivering projects and work, or it could be the person interviewing you during an interview. And to dive deep into this, I want you guys to imagine that you're all participating in a pitch competition, okay? You have an amazing audience, you have an entire stage to present on, you have a panel of judges sitting right in front of you, and you have other competitors watching you as well, okay? And when you get on stage and you start talking, you realize that all eyes are on you. They're not just watching you blankly, they're watching you because they want to hear you. They want you to continuously talk and tell them more. You realize that you've actually captivated the entire audience. And then when your pitch is over, you actually get so many compliments from not only the audience, but other competitors as well. And then the entire competition ends, and it's time for the judges to make a decision. Who's the winner? So they go off in a corner and they start talking about who the winner is. And they return, and guess what? You don't win. If you were the one who truly deserved to win, how would you perceive the entire competition? Would you consider it to be fair? Well, obviously not, right? But I think the moral of this story is that competition isn't necessarily always about the prize or the external validation or the trophy. In this case, competition was more about the personal growth, the audience impact, and the confidence you gained, right? It was more about you knowing your worth despite other people not being able to see it at that time, and you staying authentic to your vision, right? And even though the competition wasn't fair, this competition could actually be a really big testament to your sportsmanship. Why? Because the thing is, sportsmanship actually matters most when the situation isn't fair. So your approach to how you compete is actually better off being healthy despite of the circumstances of the competition. Because in life, not everything is actually fair. In fact, barely anything is. And this actually leads me to strategies on how to practice losing competition in a healthy way. And I want to talk about this specifically because it's usually actually previous losses that limit our capacity or our desire to approach competition in a healthy way, right? It's only because of like frustrations and things like that that we kind of break out of our moral values and our integrity. So let's talk about 3 strategies to lose in a healthy way. So first of all, you need to understand that it's important to rise above the loss. In this specific situation, what kicks in? Is it your bitterness that kicks in, or is it your sportsmanship that kicks in? Quote that actually really resonates with this situation is a quote by Mike Foster, which states that you cannot speak butterfly language with caterpillar people. Right? Because in this case, the judges just didn't have the capacity to resonate with the winning idea or the winning creative idea. Or perhaps there was a hidden agenda, there was a predetermined winner, and there were some biases, right? Despite all that, it's up to you to realize that it's actually quite futile to argue with them or to remain bitter about the situation. It's really important to be able to accept it and just move on. Number 2, use your loss as actual fuel, okay? Allow it to motivate you. Just because one group of judges didn't understand you, or perhaps one interview went bad, or perhaps one workplace didn't value you, it doesn't mean that you give up, okay? It's important to be resilient, and it's important for you to realize that you're going to meet people out there that are going to be able to resonate with you. And in doing so, it's also important to realize that you don't actually lower your standards and become a caterpillar in order to allow people to resonate with you, okay? It's important to remain a butterfly and attract other butterflies around you as well, okay? And number 3, don't take yourself too seriously, okay? Because aspects of competition are actually just supposed to be super fun. Think about it. If you won every single time, wouldn't it be kind of boring? So ask yourself, reflect back onto the competition and ask yourself, which parts of this competition were just super fun? And so the next time you're competing, think about how you can approach the competition with a mindset of growth and grace, and you'll probably get farther than you think. And that's all for today, folks, so until next time.
This program is meant for entertainment purposes only. It is not meant to replace any educational programs or represent a professional coaching program. All examples provided by the author and speaker are purely anecdotal and are not meant to represent any institutions or companies in affiliation with the creator.